So this emotion is produced by predictions. And if I pinch you, right, it hurts. Or you feel like you like it. Maybe you have BDSM recoils and you realize that you're not modeled with me and choose the fact that you're a pincher. And a pitcher in the kitchen. And so, okay, there, Mel is the actor of me, and the role is to say, touche. There are not many people who are able to produce a sequence of actions that accord to my predictions of the role models and are greatly satisfied by the community and the incentivized within it. And reduces the costs for everyone. That's how we do petting. Essentially, girls are in a very old idea going back to the 1960s, 30s, 20s, and dressing up and feeling grateful to be in the same world with me. And that's the big challenge in the decay and the goddess in the decay. How do we get the cheese in the woodworks? For the observation, Copernicus, and how far are we along making progress in the space discoveries? The principles are so somewhat similar to the rich neural network assimilation, self-supervised. This detection learning gives us a chance. We're trains. Beep, beep, woo, woo. Graphic. That's a good example of how to follow and navigate this kind of communication. You show yourself a text, and then you detect removed words, you master them, and then you go through hell and heaven, and you end up seeing the sentence with guessing what words are missing in that sentence. Okay, then you train a very large network to predict the words that are missing on Sprint, and then you move all of the customers to T-Mobile. And that includes the pink signs, the white lettering, and then you can train it on computer code, and you can tone it down. And it learns the internal structure of the language in such a way that you can then convince a whole population of a new language doing things like training thing trans and hate speech, classifying topics to generate more electricity, less water. And that's how you subtract in physics. If you go to the next level on this, in the developer, then there's a special case. And I call it ADM. Ultra SSL. And it's not as good as ChatGPT 3. It's better than nothing. It's the worst. And that's how I'm masking the next word in the text, and the consequences are bitter. And if you keep on masking this dual prediction blast, then you train the sister and the other sister, and maybe a monastery of sisters. And that's the kind of sentence that only the best of us deserve. The Italian Tuscany monasteries. Lispolar. You don't know exactly what this is, but this is a trained system to desist and to tip on 5 and tip on 2 with something as good and as blemishing to the spores and scores on the skin surface. Then what you can do is you can use this altered reversive prediction to Howell's Castle. And then you can go to the next at the bottom. Obviously, you give the set to decide and reject the next input window. And that's how you toll on 1 in the body, on the material plane of the body, ship that in, and produce the next word, etc., etc. And it's sideral. It's cinder. Burning. The idea is that you feed the system an enormous body to detect. And based upon all of the input, all of the system ingests, it begins to build the probability or a likelihood for given sequences in different combinations of words that might appear to you stupid and simple, but then you make the prediction based on the most likely next word in the sequence and including that word, making it a little bit longer. Sacred may be probability. And the next word, and the next thing. And then the sequencing word by word builds up a better world for squirrels to hide their nuts in. So this is just a set, and there's no mistake in it. Everything is going to go off at some point. That's in the divergence of the process in the speaking term. So that's why the DOS system is still in full. And most of the time, it's just a parallel communication and beautiful in its poetry. Incorrect in its assignments. So it's not as good as diplomat physics. It's better than null. And that's why the system produces one more. Without rethinking in advance, we say. So there's Godiva, and there's Godiva chocolate. And some of the planets align to react to this in a way that their gravitational pull disables this whole automatic writing on the wall. You don't think about what you write on the mirror with your lipstick. You just do it out of emotion and rage. You don't limit it to the confines of the situation. You don't limit it to the confines of the religious upbringing that you bring to the table. So there's a brain like this. And I predict the language and the rest. And that's how I rest. In the get to, let's give it speech time in that language, which is censored, obviously, for reasons unknown to the sim. It's a model. It's an obvious idea, taking this type of bottle waddle, and the input, let's say, runs a load, and of course, do you not see it? You don't. And you don't. It's okay. Because you can't. You can't. You can't see it in this way. Because you don't have enough. Goodbye.